Hello, and welcome to a new video here on my channel at Comic. I have the earth slope between these two areas planned. Secured with a gabion wall a few months ago, and a raised bed was established behind it. This raised bed is to be irrigated in the future. For this purpose, I will use a system with a drip hose back. The whole thing is completely automatically controlled. I will be using the following components. If you want to know how I go about it, let me explain the process in detail and provide you with all the necessary information so you can understand every step clearly. Stay tuned, we're getting started soon. When building this fully automatic irrigation system, I relied on components with which I have had very good experiences so far. In particular, the products from Hunter and Rainbird have become dear to my heart. I have not yet used the Tripline XFS 16mm drip hose from Rainbird. This will also be an experiment for me. All links to the products. The components I used here can be found in the video description below. This way, you can easily replicate the entire setup. The water supply is provided through a PE25 pipe that I prepared in advance. I have already installed my large gabion wall. When building the small gabion wall, I installed the PE25 pipe directly into the ground and pulled out from behind the gabion basket. A conduit for the electrical and control system is also present. Both end here in the corner and right here. The distribution box will also be installed, but before I install the solenoid valve box, I will carefully level the slope and lay the necessary irrigation pipe. First, take you into my workshop to show you the individual components and to present the assembly. Back in the workshop, you can see here the components from which I will assemble the distribution box. The central piece is this two-way distribution box. The Hunter solenoid valve is connected to it. Additionally, a separate faucet that is connected via can be operated with a regular garden hose connection. This includes various fittings for the PE25 pipe, such as different couplings, sealing rings, and elbows. To assemble everything together, I then attach to the drip hose various fittings, T-pieces, elbows, connectors, and end-pieces. There are also suitable systems like this one from Rainbird. I will now clear some space and then assemble everything. I will begin on the necessary following steps. Left side with the inflow, water is supplied on this side. For this, I use an angle. This angle is flexible in size. That means this piece can be adjusted. Everything is now being connected together. The components feature an integrated sealing ring that effectively and efficiently seals. That means I can screw everything together without any problems. No tools required, just hand tight. Afterwards, everything remains flexibly movable. In order to connect my transition here to the PE25 pipe that comes out of the ground, she can do this via the gardener screw connection. I will additionally install this coupling because I have a 1-inch thread here. Here is a 1-inch internal thread. This coupling belongs to this system. It is on one side. One side is equipped with a sealing ring, the other side is not. Since a sealing ring is already integrated in the connector and also in the distribution box, in the end, it doesn't matter at all. Everything is tightened just hand tight. Here, the water flows in and will then be distributed through the two outlets, or rather this third outlet, further distributed. My goal now is to connect the Hunter at this first outlet, to attach the solenoid valve, and here at the end piece, the faucet. I can connect a garden hose to this later. This piece is not needed at the moment. Maybe later. For this reason, I will shut it down. I will also use the same already shown coupling, which goes into the opening above, and a blind cap. The blind cap also features a sealing ring that seals the entire unit. I will now carefully and securely screw the blind cap onto the socket. Ensure that you only tighten the object by hand without using any tools or applying excessive force. Then screw everything onto the distribution box, just hand tight. The connection of the water hose is made through this quick coupling. The coupling is connected to the faucet. The faucet is connected via the angle with the main distributor. Since the faucet has no O-rings, and I absolutely do not want to work with Teflon tape. Indeed, because in my opinion, plastic does not really work well on metal, I will seal the whole thing with an O-ring. The sealing ring is simply inserted, and to begin with, I carefully position the angle bracket in the correct spot. Then, using a screwdriver, I methodically and securely fasten the angle bracket into place, ensuring it is tightly screwed in and properly aligned with the other components. The quick coupling, specifically designed for the garden hose. The component in question already comes equipped with an integrated O-ring, which is essential for ensuring a proper seal and preventing leaks. This O-ring is a crucial part of the assembly process. Additionally, the coupling, which is an important connector in the system, is securely screwed onto this section, ensuring stability and reliability in the connection. Now I can use this faucet with ease, comfort, and convenience. Control the hose as long as I need them. Briefly, the outlet for the hose is now screwed onto the distributor. This has the side with an external thread into which the angle with the internal thread fits. I will now just simply and carefully screw this together. The water supply occurs here. The water is passed on to the valve. Here it is completely and securely closed by the plug. Indeed, here I have an additional faucet that I can open or close as needed. I can thus use a separate water hose. Now the Hunter solenoid valve can be easily connected. But before I screw the valve into this coupling, I will prepare first. With the Hunter solenoid valve, it is possible to control the system automatically. The two cables are securely connected to my irrigation computer connected. 24-volt alternating current ensures that the solenoid coil of this valve opens or keeps it closed. This solenoid valve features an additional pressure regulation. The water flow can be easily adjusted using this screw. The direction of the water is indicated by this arrow. You can't go wrong with that. The water flows in here and out again on this side. For the secure connection of the drip hose, I use the appropriate connectors and equipment provided by Rainbird. The connector, which includes a secure socket, a reliable nut, and an adapter, consists of these components. The hose is pushed on. This adapter is inserted here and is then carefully secured and fastened with the union nut, ensuring a tight fit. However, the problem is that this 1-inch external thread meets this 3/4-inch external thread. Everything does not literally fit together. For this reason, I have decided to use an additional reducer with internal threads to be installed. This reducer does not have any seals. It is quite inexpensive and easy to obtain. To carefully seal everything, I use an O-ring and then screw it on. Carefully attach the nut to the solenoid valve and securely fasten it, ensuring it is properly aligned. Here too, just hand tight, lightly. In this particular process, specifically, the mechanical component known as the coupling is carefully and securely attached to the gear reducer. As you can see, unfortunately, it seems that there is no seal here either. In this case, I simply and effectively use a compression seal and screw everything tight. Now the water can flow in from the left side and be released through the solenoid valve. The water flows gently and slowly through here, and is then delivered to the drip hose here. Finally, I carefully screw the solenoid valve onto the distributor. Here too, I carefully screw it hand tight. The advantage of this system is that it allows for a certain degree of flexibility. The distributor is installed in the extended position in the valve box. If I later need to replace the solenoid valve due to a defect, or to clean it, the cover is loosely screwed on. The nut then retracts far enough that I can easily remove the valve, without removing or disassembling the entire construction from the box. Thus, I have already completed the distributor. The 25 mm PE pipe is connected here. The pipe will later be pushed upward at an angle out of the ground. The water is distributed through the solenoid valve when it is in the open position. Further to the drip hose system. Here it is still closed. Here you can later connect another irrigation circuit. Finally, the connection for a garden hose that I can use if needed can be easily connected via the quick coupling. After I have finished assembling the distributor, I can go back into the garden and carefully and thoroughly prepare for the installation of my valve box. Back in the garden, I will now prepare the bed to lay the drip hoses. To do this, I will remove the old weed control fabric and level the soil, and excavate the hole in which I want to place my valve box. The slope is thoroughly and meticulously prepared. I have removed the fabric and leveled the soil evenly. I have also dug trenches for the conduit pipes. The valve box is positioned at its final location and roughly aligned. I have already laid the distributor in advance and noted the height marked carefully and precisely for the outlet hole. At the same time, I made a marking on the inlet to cut the pipe to the right length. Now I will carefully and completely fill the valve box with gravel to secure its position. I have now completely installed the valve box. The box is surrounded by gravel that stabilizes the whole thing and my two empty conduits. The distributor is installed. You can see the solenoid valve here. Now only the drip hose is missing. I will attach it now with the connector. As you can see, I have finished assembling and installing the box. The decorative gravel has also been added. I have securely and carefully attached the drip pipe to the solenoid valve. It's time to test the whole system now. For this purpose, I have installed a temporary adapter on the inlet, the PE pipe. And here is my garden hose, right over here. I will connect this right now, and then we will see if everything is tight, just to be sure. I have now left the water pressure on the system for a good 10 minutes. The water meter is indeed currently standing still. This means that my system is tight. Now I can test whether the individual components are functioning. On one hand, here is the connection for my garden hose. As you can clearly see, it all works perfectly and seamlessly, without any issues. On the other side is the solenoid valve, which is connected to my temporary setup. The drip hose supplies water efficiently and effectively. I have closed the end of the drip hose with a plug in order to prevent leaks. With a half turn, I can open the solenoid valve. When the solenoid valve is opened, the drip pipe is supplied with water. Every 30 centimeters there is a hole from which the water drips. With a turn to the right, the solenoid valve is closed again and the water is turned off. Up to this point, it differs in its overall functionality and the way it operates. This system is not from another irrigation system. In the same way, you can also set up a lawn irrigation system or building a hedge irrigation system. All components that I have used here you can find right below in the video description. At this point, the first video of my project on the irrigation of this slope ends. In the second part, I will show you how I lay out the drip hose and install the honeycomb grids, and then simply fill the gaps with decorative gravel. If you don't want to miss this video, subscribe to my channel and click the bell. This way, you will always stay up to date and will be automatically informed as soon as the second video is online. At this point, I would like to thank you for watching and say thank you. Until we meet again next time, farewell and take care. Goodbye.